Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 227 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. What do you think about that title? What do you think about being legendary, not ordinary? I wish I could take credit for that saying, but it came from one of my favorite class instructors at the gym. Her name is Christine. She says it just about every class, and I love it every single time, and it inspires me every single time. And it actually goes along with what I wanted to chat about today. So I woke up last Friday morning at 5 a.m., which is my favorite time of day. And I was like, oh, cool, it's Friday. And I get to have my Toastmasters meeting at 7, which I love. Okay, good. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. I had volunteered to be a speaker for today, and I hadn't prepared a speech. So I felt this instant panic. And then I was like, okay, wait a minute. You don't have to go to that meeting. You could just send Kara an email and tell her something came up, or you could even be honest and tell her you're just not prepared. So I get out my laptop and I'm typing my email, and all the while I'm thinking about like all the things I talk about on my podcast every week and how my word of the year this year was authentic, and I just felt like it was the wrong move to back out. And then I remembered one of the group leaders in Toastmasters saying the week before, oh yeah, no problem, I can be a standby speaker today. That's fine. He was going to give a speech with no notice. I mean, I have 2 hours notice at this point. I also thought about another speaker who had confessed that he had forgotten until that morning that he was speaking. So he wrote one quickly and practiced it and gave it anyway. So I told myself, if they can do it, so can you. So I canceled out the email and I came downstairs, and I didn't sit in my normal chair where I normally do my morning routine. I sat in a different part of the house so that I could be in a fresh zone, and I wrote a speech. And then I delivered that speech, probably with more pride than any of my other ones, because I had stepped way out of my comfort zone. I didn't quit when it would have been super easy to quit, and no one would have known but me. I talked in episode 226 about having your own back, and this goes hand in hand with that, because having your own back also includes not giving up so easily when things get hard. See it through. The most important commitments, in my opinion, are the ones you make to yourself. And there was, of course, an element of not wanting to let the group down, sure, because if I hadn't shown up, one of the other members more than likely would have had to have jumped up quickly and given a standby speech. But that's not why I ultimately decided to follow through. I did it to show myself that I could. And part of what helped me was the inspiration that others had given me by setting that example. You never know who you're inspiring when you show up for yourself. But ultimately, the best thing is you learn to trust yourself when you do that. Now, I always want to knock my speeches out of the ballpark. I want to show up as my best self at Toastmasters. That's what I expect from me. But I also expect to show up when I commit to. So I kind of had a dilemma here. Well, in the end, I decided it was more important for me to show up than give up. Even if it meant I was giving a B-level speech. Even if it meant I was less prepared. And that's what I did. And guess what? I still pulled off being voted best speaker of the day, all because I showed up. Now, I don't say that to brag. I say that to show you what's possible. Sometimes you have to inspire yourself. I ended up telling the group what happened and how a few of them had inspired me by showing up even though it wasn't easy. And in turn, I know I inspired others to do the same in the future. That's how it works. I've learned through studying how our thoughts affect us and how the brain works. So often we think in order to change the world, we have to change the lives of like a gazillion people, right? But you really only have to change one person, and that's you. When you grow and you thrive and you live your message, really following your passion, you change. And when you change the world. Your world for sure, but also the world of the people you are in close contact with, the people that you touch. My little sister's just solid commitment to always working out, even with the disruption of COVID. And then also her ability to stand strong in some uncomfortable work scenarios she's had lately. It inspires me to do the same. Her growth inspires me as much as my growth inspires her. She probably doesn't know that. She will now, though, because she is a loyal listener, which I love. But think about it. Why is it so much easier when we work out with someone else, or we work out in like a group dynamic? Well, it's because we inspire each other. That girl showing up, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. She was showing up for herself and working her butt off in Tabata. And that gave me the energy to do the same. That's how you change you and the world. And showing up for yourself doesn't always mean you knock it out of the ballpark. Sometimes it means rest. Sometimes it means admitting you don't know the answer. Showing up, doing your B game, just show up. And sometimes it means being vulnerable. You grow from that too, and so do others. Now, I used to think as when someone would hire me as an interior designer, for say, I had to know all the answers all the time, or I had to know all the high-end brands or everything about everything. Now, that's just ridiculous. We aren't going to know everything. You don't have to know it all. A few years ago, my husband was telling me how in the simulator, sometimes new instructors think they have to know everything. And he said, I told him, it's okay not to know. It's okay to say, I don't know. And that, from him telling me that, I learned, and the best thing I've ever done for myself is giving myself the permission to say, I don't know the answer. Let me get back to you. It's one of the best gifts I've given. Admit you don't know and go find the answer. That's easy. And the more experience you get, the less that'll happen, of course, but the world's too full of options for you to know it all. And that's okay. Just so stressful when you feel like you always have to know. So it's showing up for yourself to say, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to find out. And ultimately, you're showing up for that other person too. If you're like me, you'd love to make an impact on the world. And what we have to remember is we don't have to have 1 million followers or 100,000 downloads per episode. Sure, that would be amazing. But what about that one person that listens and then goes and makes a change in their life, that inspires 2 other people to do the same? You're making more of an impact than you know. We make an impact on the world when we live intentionally, when we live authentically, when we embrace our life and be the best that we can be every single day. Maybe you're a new mom and someone else is inspired by the way you'll handle things so well, and they copy you, which makes them a better mom. You're changing that person's world and yours. Or maybe you're a fitness instructor like Christine, who inspires us every day with her spirit. She sings to the music in class. She's outrageous. She tells us it's always a good day to have a good day if we want to have a good day. She's definitely not ordinary. She's legendary, for sure. Or maybe you're a teacher and you're inspiring people every day because you're showing up and being your best. You may not even realize how much you inspire people. So ordinary for me would have been sending that email last Friday saying I couldn't show up for the Toastmasters meeting that day. Then sitting down, drinking my coffee, and yeah, would have been a fine day. My day would have gone on, but with a little less energy, a little less pride, and that would have shown up everywhere that day. But being legendary meant having a few second freak out and then sitting down, writing a speech, delivering it, and then winning best speech, all because I didn't quit. All because I wanted to show myself what's possible and be authentic to my message that I talk about every single day. What's going to be legendary for you today? Where can you step out of the confines of ordinary? It isn't that hard to stand out anymore. I hate that that's the truth, but standards have definitely gotten lower. I think it's time we buck that trend and we bring those standards back up, one person at a time. And it starts with me and it starts with you. Me changing me, you being the best version of you, and us living our version of a wildly successful lifestyle. And it doesn't mean you're not going to make it on the big stage one day. It just means this may be your opening act, preparing you for what's to come. Now go out there and buck the trend. Be legendary, not ordinary. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.